Hello everyone, my name is Jared. Today, I'm going to show off my deck profile where I went 4-0 in the regional flights of the 300th YCS at Richmond. I played Vanquisol K9. Um, it's a pretty straightforward list. There's a little bit of spice that I'll talk about when I get there. First, let's go over the shoutouts really quick. Huge shoutouts to my friends, everyone in here. Let's see if it will focus or not. Probably not, honestly. Maybe if I get it really, really close. There we go. Huge shoutouts to everyone in the photo. I love all of you guys to death. Specifically, Tyler, Brian, and Jung. They were the guys I traveled with. They all helped me come up with this list. They helped me test a ton, especially in the last couple of weeks post ban list. Huge shout out to Christian, Louis, and Logan. Christian and Logan for also helping me theory craft, helping me get cards, and Louis because he passed away last year. And he would have wanted me to play this deck with him because I loved this deck too. He believed in this deck a lot more than I did before it got Sue. It's really unfortunate that he wasn't around for very long once Sue was out. He would have loved this deck so much, and he would still be right here with me at the bottom tables trying to play it. But I think he might have done a little better than me in the main event. I only went 2-4, so that's not worth really talking about. But in the regional flight, I went 4-0. Played against 3 branded Draco Tail players. It was 2 and then a Radiant Typhoon player, and then the last branded Draco Tail player. So I played against all meta, and it was a lot of good games. Honestly, I don't think it was. I don't think I was ever in a spot where I was like, okay, I know I'm 100% going to win this game. So I did kind of bank on either my opponents making some mistakes or some lucky top decks, but I think as a whole, it was a successful flight. Here's a picture probably of me with like the playmat and the box and everything. I was mostly doing it just to get my invite so I could finally go to nationals. So hopefully we can go to Nats this year with all my friends. And also huge shout out to Critical Hit Games for being one of the best card stores on the East Coast. Huge shout out to Manny for being one of the best TOs and one of the greatest judges. And I think that's about it. For everyone else, you all know who you are. I love you all to death. Thank you all so much for testing and for just being great friends and for letting me continue to be a part of the excellent community that we have here in Maryland playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So with that, let's get into the profile. So honestly, it's a pretty easy profile to talk about. It's just 3 Rosin, 3 Mad Love, 3 Jiao Long, Sue, 1 Burger, 1 Caesar Valius. The only real spice in regards to things that you can change up is the second place list. He was playing a second Burger. I think you could also experiment with like more K9 cards than what I have, being like 3 Azuna Lupus. This will never change. 1 Jokul, rest in peace my ultis, Lantern, and Naroi. I think if you want to go down on like Mad Love or Jiaolong and increase copies of like Naroi and Lantern to more consistently see the Saryuja combo, then like go ahead. Like I think that is something you are allowed to do. It's just not something that I wanted to do for this event. I didn't feel comfortable with that idea. Even though that was an idea that I had pretty early on, was if you like normal Naroi, it gets ashed or impermed or Veilered, you can still use the effect, even if it was like Veilered or impermed, to send it to the grave. And then Lantern can bring it back. So opening like a 2-card combo is really good, but I don't think it gets you to Saryuja unless you also have Azuna. So it's like it's kind of awkward, but it can work if you have like a 3-card combo. But yeah, I think that these cards were too busted to not play. Maybe I should have played more of them, but that's okay. I think this was fine. For the non-engine, it's pretty straightforward. These like 7. I think if your deck can play these cards, you play them. I know like some Radiant Typhoon decks are not really playing Ash because they don't care about the Charmies, but I think that these 7 cards in this deck are just too good to not play. I did decide to play Perilia. I think this was a mistake playing it in the main deck. I think I'm supposed to main deck like some number of Bell and then side the Perilias, but I think that's like the biggest mistake that I made in deck building, at least in terms of the main deck. And then 1 called by as well. I probably won't cut this card unless I need to go to 40. Like if I'm at 41, maybe you could put Call By in the side deck, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I think the second place list was siding the Call By. I also know the second place list was not playing Chaotic Elements. I really recommend this card because it's just more copies of Jokul and more copies of Lantern. There's also some spots where if you like normal your Rosin, this is really funny. You normal Rosin or Madlove and they impermit, and then you go like Jokul will reveal Lantern, and then they like impulse it and they destroy the Jokul. Then you can Lantern back the Jokul. So that's really cool. That's like another reason to play multiple Lantern, which is the other reason to play multiple Chaotic Elements, because then if you have one of those in your hand, then you can Chaotic Elements get the other one, and then like if they impulse your Jokul after using a trap card and they destroy the Jokul, well now you have a K9 in the graveyard for your Lantern. Also you can just Chaotic Elements add back Lantern if like you get drolled, and then you can Azuna dump it, and then Elements add it back, and then like you can play from there. So that stuff comes up. It's kind of niche, but it does come up. So it's pretty cool just to know those interactions. 3 Stake, Case, Pot, and Rhoda, all consistency cards that I think you should be playing. Maybe there's some argument to not play Rhoda because we have 3 Rosin now, so maybe you don't want to clog up on Rosin specifically. But I think that's silly. I think you just want to make your deck as consistent as possible. Maybe if you're playing multiple Naroi, like if you're playing 3 Naroi, you could cut Rhoda, because you want to see Naroi more than you want to see Rosin, but that's just an idea. And then start, you have to play this card to make Madlove a starter. Thank God they printed this card. This card is exactly what I wanted when the deck first came out. I said I want Madlove to be a starter, and this is what it took. So I was pretty happy with it. I main decked the trap card. You could side this as well. I don't hate it. I prefer main decking it because when you get Fualos, I think it's really easy to set up lines where like you give them one draw with like summoning Rock or something, or like Sue summon from deck. But usually it's just Rock, and then you can end on with like Sue in hand. Or I'm sorry, I guess you would summon Sue probably. So you have the 2 bodies, and then the field spell sets the trap. So it's like Rock, Sue, whatever you normal summoned, and then you have the trap set, and then you have all your attributes set up. And then you just like hopefully live another turn. There's also a lot of cool interactions with like protecting everything from card destruction, and then they have to battle like your Caesar Values. So then their 3000 Arthalion crashes with your Caesar Values, and then Field Spell can protect it, and then you don't need to use the Field Spell to protect from card destruction because the trap did that for you. So small but important interactions to understand. And I think the spiciest thing about this deck was Release Restraint instead of Force Release. Basically, you don't get the pop, the non-targeting pop, but you do get to do it in any phase, and you get to do it on any rank 5. And there's a ton of really cool interactions with this card that I built the entire extra deck around. So I think that I will probably continue playing this card moving forward, but I think there are versions of this deck akin to the second place list that you don't play any quick play spells, but you do play the K9s as a way to consistently bridge into your VS cards through like Yugioh. And also, they're just good cards in the grind game, like helping break apart your opponent's board just to let your Rosin resolve. For the extra deck, nothing super crazy, mostly besides... I'm sorry, these 3 are standard. I'm sorry, 2 Rock, 1 SP. Third one never comes up, but you do need the second one. SP is just really good for like trying to crack the board, where you can go like Valon, like book one of their pieces of interaction, like their Gulamel or something, and then you can make SP, so then you can pop like 2 back row, or like pop a back row, banish a back row. That's really nice. 2 Ripper, second one comes up a ton, where turn 1 you have to use the negate. Jax is probably the weakest of the K9s. The double damage doesn't come up that much anymore. It does matter where like during your opponent's turn you can Lupus summon back, make Jax pop one of their guys, they beat over the Jax, and then the quick play spell resets itself, and then you can turn one of your other rank 5s, like the C104 that they probably use Straplets on, to summon like Werewolf or Ripper M or something, so that the C104 doesn't die. Which yes, I do play Nash Knight and C104. So when this will die in the end phase, you can use the quick play spell to summon Ripper M over top of it. And then like when they go to play on my turn, I have this. So like if they want to shotgun something, I can just go no, reset the whole board, and like all their back row goes away and everything. So it's pretty dope. And then like I said, werewolf as well. I think this is one of the best cards in the extra deck. I don't know how the second place guy won without this card. I think that this card is insane. But maybe it's a crutch. Maybe I've learned to not be able to win without it. I don't know. But there are plenty of games where you win without it. But I think it's just insane. I think this card's too good to not play. But that's just my opinion. And then Zeus. Zeus is just a big robot that nukes the whole board. I love this card. It does suck having to waste your battle phase sometimes though, because I want to kill you. So like I like in Yugioh, you know, I want the game to be over. And this is not always the way to do it, but sometimes you get to reset the board and then like normal Rasen. So that's pretty cool sometimes. And then Zen Mayo is probably like the breakout card of the weekend because Zen Mayo says on your turn when your opponent 5-manas you and they set Ketu Rahu, you can like Azuna, Lupus, or Lantern summon back, or Jokul summon 2, whatever. Like however you want to put 2 bodies on the board, make this and pop out their back row. You can also come into some cool spots where if they only set 1, like if they only set Rahu or Ketu, because they already have the other one in their hand and they know about this card, they're trying to play around it, you can set your own quick play spell, pop it and their back row, use the case, the C104 to pop case to then reset the quick play, or Ripper to set it as well. So you have a bunch of ways to get to it and then reset it a second time on your first turn. If they set spells and you need to pop them. And then you can use this to go over top of this because it doesn't do anything on their turn. It's just a guy. So really cool interactions. I really like this extra deck, and I really liked the main deck for the most part. Like I said, I do want to make some of those changes that I talked about moving around like Bell, Perulia, and Imperm. I do side Imperm and then the 2 Bell. I would like to put 3 Bell in the main and the 3 Imperm in the main. I think that these cards were just solid. And they're just so generic. Like they have so many applications. So I think it was silly of me not to main deck them. I think that was my greatest mistake about the weekend. I think 3 Retaliating C3 Die-Fi is absolutely busted. Just having 6 floodgates that tell your opponent they can't touch the graveyard. And they're just busted floodgates. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, these cards are like Die-Fi is probably ban worthy. Retaliating C, I think it's like mostly okay. Like, it's a very frustrating card for a lot of decks, or for Draco Tail specifically. But yeah, like I think Retaliating C is one of those cards where it's like, if I draw this card, I have to hope that they draw Rahu. Like, sometimes they just draw White Boy and then like Fallen on the White and then like 1 Draco Tail name. So then it's like you get to do it on the Rahu later. But at that point, they've like maybe you know, they already have the out set up in their hand. And Chaos Star Source is a hell of a card. So if they play Lubellion, then that can out either one of these. Judgment, I never saw it. Droll, I never saw it. We'll probably cut these cards for something else moving forward. Droll, it's just really good for the mirror and like Mitsu, but I think Mitsu is just kind of a rough matchup to begin with. I think maining Bell would help with that. And hopefully Mitsu just kind of goes away eventually, high key, because that matchup is really frustrating. The first regional fight that I played in, I lost to Raizio Mitsu. So yeah, I'm kind of sick of that deck. Like I've dealt with it for so long now. I just want it to go away. And then the last card was the Yugioh. I just cited him for going first. There were a couple of game 1s where I wish I had it because I didn't see a Victor Soul. So that was it. Overall, I was like mostly happy with the deck. Very excited to make the changes to it that I intend to make to it. And I think that was it. That's all I really have. So if you guys have any comments, please leave them down below. I am very, very eager to hear what people want to say about it. But otherwise, go check out the deck profile of Brian. I'm going to put that up hopefully before this one. So yeah, so I think that was everything. So thank you all so much for watching. And I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.